from 1924 to 2024, that guy lived. All the changes he saw, all the advancements in technology, really amazing. Apart from the life he lived, what an amazing thing to make it to the century mark. Because look at how the world changed. I was just talking about how the world has changed in the last 20 years. How about the last 100? So he was laid to rest, and they held the funeral yesterday for Jimmy Carter. And I watched the eulogy given by Gerald Ford's son. You guys see that?
No,
I thought he gave a great eulogy. All of it came from his dad. I don't know when Gerald Ford wrote all of this, but he was talking about his friendship and his respect for Jimmy Carter. And it was really nice. It was.
I need to go back and watch that because I've heard a lot of good things about what Gerald Ford had to say.
It was great. I was
out of the room for that, but I was in the room for Jason Carter's tribute. We have just a couple of minutes from that. I thought this was so good from start to finish from Jason Carter's
and
grandson.
That's his grandson, right?
Yeah.
Is he the one we hear from all the time?
I think
we get the updates on.
I forget.
Yeah. Okay. Here he is.
Yes, they spent 4 years in the governor's mansion and 4 years at the White House, but the other 92 years they spent at home in Plains, Georgia. And one of the best ways to demonstrate that they were regular folks is to take them by that home. First of all, it looks like they might have built it themselves. Second of all, my grandfather was likely to show up at the door in some 70s short shorts and Crocs. And then you'd walk in the house and it was like thousands of other grandparents' house all across the South. Fishing trophies on the walls. The refrigerator, of course, was papered with pictures of grandchildren and then great-grandchildren. Their main phone, of course, had a cord and was stuck to the wall in the kitchen, like a museum piece. And demonstrating their Depression-era roots, they had a little rack next to the sink where they would hang Ziploc bags to dry.
Frugal. It's frugal.
And demonstrating that they changed with the times. Eventually, he did get a cell phone, and one time he called me sort of early on in that process. And on my phone, it said, "Papa, mobile." So I answered it, of course. I said, "Hey, Papa." He said, "Who's this?" I said, "This is Jason." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm not doing anything. You called me." He said, "I didn't call you. I'm taking a picture."
What a great story.
Nuclear engineer, right? I
mean, really good stuff. Really
yeah,
that's funny.
That's
awesome.
Everything he said about the Carter's kitchen was my Nana and Papa's kitchen.
Yeah, we can all relate to that stuff for sure.
Refrigerator, the sink area. Oh my gosh, it was the South, man.
Yep. And while Jimmy Carter was a terrible president, I've never doubted that he was a good and decent man.
Yes.
Unlike others, I won't name Joe Biden. I've always believed that he loved America. Unlike others, I won't name, like Joe Biden. There's a big difference between Jimmy Carter and his bad presidency and Joe Biden and his bad presidency.
Yep.
Huge difference. Where you just sense that, I don't know, it's a completely different thing going on there. And that's why he's been relegated probably out of the top 5 worst presidents of all time. Because at number 1 there, if you're only going to do 4, the Mount Rushmore is definitely Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and Woodrow Wilson. Okay, so he doesn't even make the monument. I don't want to hear it from anybody who says Jimmy Carter was the worst president. No, not by a long shot. And we didn't even delve into the 1800s. There were several bad presidents during that century. But Jimmy Carter went on, and most of what people remember about him happened after his presidency. The Habitat for Humanity stuff. I mean, he was always certifying elections for nasty dictators. That was one thing I didn't really appreciate about him. But he wanted to try to help third world nations. And so he globetrotted the planet trying to do that. And apparently he got the respect of an awful lot of people on both sides of the aisle along the way. So Jimmy Carter, gone at 100. Now, he was in hospice for, gosh, it seems like a decade. But literally it was the last at least 2 years, right? I don't know. His grandson that just gave that eulogy was continually giving updates on his situation, and every time you think, oh, okay, must be about time, and he just kept hanging in there. Pretty amazing. Yeah. He definitely wanted to place that vote for Kamala Harris, and so he apparently did that. Or somebody did it for him. I'm not sure how that exactly went down. But it was a big day, and a lot of people are making a big deal out of the interaction between Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Kamala Harris seemed to avoid both of those presidents, and she seemed to be avoided by Jill Biden, whose animosity toward her is so evident.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
if
hate
you
each
watch
other.
all the presidents get seated and the first ladies, it was like a high school lunchroom. Like, I'm not looking at him. I'm not going to talk to him.
Interesting.
It was, the dynamics were insane.
It's fascinating, though. Fascinating.
100.
Because of where we have been and where we're headed and where this thing could have gone with these people who hate each other's guts.